You can just start or go wherever we're going, but I was like, this is good stuff.
Well, I was just saying, the elders in the institution, so the elders are there for the inmates and not necessarily there for staff. They get paid to support the inmates. And Elder Tony Bob was always there for me and always came in and checked in on me when they knew I was struggling so bad. And then later, Chad Paul was an Indigenous liaison officer, and we became buddies because we both have a mutual love of hunting at that time. And while we were hunting, he would share the teachings. So the medicine wheel, for one, was a big thing for me, and I explained it to people all the time. I explained it to white people all the time. And the other day I explained it to a Filipino lady who was cutting my hair. And she's used to be hardcore Catholic, and because of the culture, right? And then now she's a Christian, right? And I said to her, I could just follow my own, because I told her I was raised Catholic. I said I could just follow my own belief system. Now when she asked what that was, I said, well, it's more in line with the Indigenous belief system with the Creator and so forth, and Mother Earth. And if you take care of the earth will take care of you. And also at the same time I said to her, and I've seen that if you let the earth heal, that the earth will heal. Because I've gone down hunting roads where 1 year you could drive down, 2 years later you couldn't drive down, you had to walk through, and then 4 years later it's gone. Good taken back into the forest, right? So the earth will heal itself. And then I talked to her about the circle, the medicine wheel, and how the 4 quadrants, right? Emotional, spiritual, physical, and mental. How all 4 have to be nice and round and robust to have the best life possible. So you have to put work every single day into all 4 of those. And if you have one that's not full, won't be around will any longer, right? You'll be constantly smashing and crashing through life. And that was the number one thing with inmates. They had avoided their emotional quadrant. So same as us, they got angry. They used anger, right? They didn't deal with their emotions. So then in prison, they're taught by an elder, and unfortunately, they have to get that far to be taught that they didn't deal with it as men, particularly, but also as damaged men and men who've been through a lot of trauma, and men who've been ripped away from their own cultures and their cultural teachings. So that was all taught to me, mostly on hunting trips, and then also we would always drum and sing after we harvested, say, an elk or something, right? And show respect for that animal. None of that stuff had ever been taught to me before. That was just killing to me, right? And I got a bit of a rush from it, but later on I started to respect the animal for what it was, for sustenance, right? It wasn't a trophy. It wasn't about bragging rights. It wasn't even about taking pictures with. It was about eating, right? And sharing with other people. All that stuff changed my belief system. I shouldn't say stuff, all those teachings changed my beliefs. And I only know a fraction, right? But whatever was taught to me resonated with me because it just makes way too much sense.
Yeah.
I don't have to pray to anybody or confess my sins to another man, right? And that's another thing that I mentioned to this lady who was cutting my hair, Imelda. I said to her, how come in the Bible it's all men? Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And I said, in the Indigenous culture, it's matriarchal.
It is.
And I said, and right away they're taught, and some of the inmates, it really hurts because of the nature of their crimes, but right away they're taught to respect the life givers. And that's huge, right? And especially in today's day and time, or today's age, right? With especially after the Me Too movement.
No.
To respect the life givers, to respect women, right? Where had that gone in my culture? The white man culture, my Donald Trump or Sam Malone culture, right?
Well, that's the thing, like as men, and I don't know if all Indigenous, there might be patriarchal Indigenous cultures somewhere, but for Stalo people, it is matriarchal. And like for us men, it's like we got to be the protectors, the hunters, providers, and those things. Drummers, speakers, and like even the speakers, right? It's usually a woman telling the man what to say, but because us men, we have a voice that projects out there more. That's what works that way. So it's just like we have our roles, and they're both important, and that's what I like about it too. And I like with for our women, it's like they are the storytellers. They're the ones that they know our lineage. They know and they take care of us too. Like they'll make back then they're making things for us, and I think they did so much more than they were given birth. And so it's like they had so much to offer. Like they had more things to offer than us guys, I think. But us guys, we were both important and we were both needed. And I think it'd be cool if even society got back to that or something.
Yeah.
Because we are both important. And instead of let's have the battle of the sexes, which I see a lot more on TikTok and all that stuff going on. I do think it's just that we need to look at and see that what our gifts are as each other.
Well, different roles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some roles work, some roles rules don't, and it is the way it is, right? But I saw it in Vietnam, even where they say it takes a village or a tribe to raise a child, right? There were kids on the train. I had no idea who their parents were, but other people were scolding them.
Oh, really? Like the community thing?
Yeah, it was bizarre, and I was like, wow, this is the way it is in tribal life too. Right, and I just watched a video recently. A Lakota man was talking about how women are closer to the creator than men are because women can create, can give life, and how when a baby's born, it's brought out in their culture, it's brought out and given to all the other women before it makes its way back to its mom to show that they're all the mother of that child.
Okay, that's interesting.
That was pretty wild. This is how it should be, honestly, right? We should all be working together, like. Only in, I guess, North America and Europe, how many people don't know their next door neighbors, right?
Especially nowadays.
Like, I lived in Vancouver. I never knew my next door neighbors.
No.
I barely know mine living in Chilliwack, who my next door neighbors are. We're not close. Don't know their names, some of them. It's just different. It's certainly not a village.
No.
Right? And it's not much of a community even at that point.
No, that's true too. So when you're saying in your dark times, who or what helped you when you were?
Well, that puppy I told my wife I need a puppy, and she was very angry. We're not getting another dog. Yeah. I said, you're not hearing me. I need a puppy. Yeah. And I said, I just need a puppy. So I'm getting a puppy. Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm a grown adult. If I want a gun, a truck, whatever else, right? New TV, I'm getting it. Yeah. If I want a dog, I'm getting a dog. So I went and got myself this cute little black lab. Cabela, I named her. She sat slept with me. I slept with her for the first week on the couch, and she slept on my chest every night, just so I'd have that bond. But she's what kept me alive because I was very suicidal. I knew I had to live for that little puppy. I didn't want to leave my puppy. Right? The puppy kept me alive, and now she's my emotional support dog. There are times where I would be sitting on the couch, even though I had YouTube on there, I didn't hear a word. I was raging on the inside, and my mind was going in 100 different directions, but usually homicidal thoughts. Versus co-workers or managers that I had in the past, or people who I was facing discipline from. And all of a sudden, feel on my lap, it's my dog's head, right? And she just clue into how I was feeling and wander on over and snap me out of it. So she's what kept me alive for sure.
That's awesome. So just bringing you an anchor, comfort.
And it's bad too when I'm away. It's not the wife I miss, it's my dog I miss. But because I have such a close bond, and she's not going to say the wrong things. No. Because she doesn't speak.
No, she's going to love you and care for you no matter what. So I'm not going to criticize you.
There's one time I called home and I said to the wife, and I said to this joke, I said, how's my girl? And she's like, well, I'm good. I said, no, not you, Camilla. Jeez, thanks a lot. I know you love that dog.
So, what would you wish someone would have told you when you were at your lowest point?
Time heals.
Time heals?
Because that's what I've learned. Because you need time to process. And when things are so shocking, they become traumatic. And then you own that trauma and you own that hurt. And it becomes a part of your identity and even your personality. And it changes you and changes your personality and changes how you think about yourself. You need time to process everything that you've gone through and time to process the hurt and the pain and the trauma. There's no quick fix to anything. Even it's the same, very close to the same healing cycle as grieving, right? Where time heals. So that's the one thing I'll say to everybody is time truly does heal as long as you don't compound things.
No.
Right? And make things worse.
Like me with my obsessive mind, I could turn things like I could turn a molehill into a mountain, and I could just keep going and going, and it's like, no, I gotta step back and I need to realize I can only do so much, and then it's up to creator, and that's what I do just for myself, because so it does feel like I'm out of control, but like it's at the same time it's like there's nothing more I can do, and time does heal, even though like today feels like it's the worst day of my life, tomorrow it might be better, and there's and like those things.
You'll have your little wins here and there, and that's why I go to the gym every day, because I'll have that little micro win, and so I force that to happen. I need that to happen every day, or else my life is going to spiral into a series of failures. Instead, I have it coast into a series of micro wins, which eventually add up into a win. Because that was the reason I did my first bodybuilding competition. So I was in horrible shape, and I just started to get pre-diabetes and so forth. I torn my calf muscle. I had to quit karate, and because I went back to the gym to ride the bike, it's therapy for my torn muscle in my leg. I said, I might as well do a couple dips while I'm here. I did a couple dips, and that's how it all started, right? And I forgot who I was, but also I forgot how it made me feel doing that. So then I slowly got back into the gym. And then it got to a point where I decided I was going to lose X amount of pounds, and I did. And I said, what if I take this to the max and go as far as I can to make it almost larger than life, motivate other people to do the exact same thing? Because I knew I was getting the serotonin, the dopamine, and the endorphins. I knew it's what was making me feel the best, was being at the gym and working out, and especially once I became part of the gym community again. And then, if I take this to the max, what if I go on stage, right? If I get down to under 10% body fat, which I did, and I felt amazing when I did it, and I thought I was going to be a whole new person, and I thought I'd be happy with myself for once in my life. And that lasted 3 days, and then I was right back into depression. So then I realized I have to set my next goal, and set my next goal, and set my next goal, and always be moving forward. But it wasn't necessarily for me or for that $15 medal or whatever it was that I won. And I'm only up there to compete against myself.